we intend to, or we tend to, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga miscommunication or misunderstanding, di ba? That will lead to a so-called chaos, or a sort of whatever it is. So in a geography, no, in study of geography, sabi natin, we need to appreciate the variety of worlds, people, and places. So sabi nga natin sa geography, it can be small, medium, and large. It can be a country, or a city, or a state, di ba? Ganun po mga setup. Now, in that area, there are also different, sabi ko nga, different perspectives, so different yung kanilang preferences. And in some point is, in that point, sabi nga natin, kung hindi natin iintindihin, di ba, magkakaroon tayo ng miscommunication, misunderstanding na tinatawag. So, we need to understand the type of people inside in that particular area. Kailangan natin malaman yung culture niya para, in that case, if ever, no, meron tayong mga madali natin silang hindi sa mapacify, but madali natin sila maging friend. Makuha natin yung sympathy, at the same time makuha din natin yung portion na yung needs nila, so that magkaroon tayo ng continuing communication na tinatawag, a good communication. So number 2, as we said, topic ito to understand, no? Ayan, to understand the relationship between the world's community. So kailangan meron tayong mga organization, kasi kailangan alamin natin yung mga perspective na yan, no, para malaman natin na pwede tayo magbuo ng organization. Paano natin igugrupo sarili natin? 'Di ba? Pag magugrupo ba tayo by kulay, by colors, homogeneity by colors, grouping of what, lahat tayo mayayaman, etc. 'Di ba? So dapat maintindihan 'yan. So, and number 3 of course is to help with regional, national, and global development. So through this, sabi nga natin, for this identification, tinatawag natin understanding with all, so maintindihan natin. So mawawala yung tinatawag nating miscommunication or misunderstanding. So geography, there are 3 important things, no, or classification to understand, no, why we need to study geography. Number 1, we need to understand the physical. Okay? Physical is, of course, is examining, as we understand, it examine how the natural forces shape. Paano po nabuo ang isang lugar? Nabuo ba siya base sa existence na lang talaga niya, o sumulpot lang siya like the case of the Philippines? So, nabuo tayo in what particular sizes and yung spatial na tinatawag. Ano yung nakikita natin sa area na yon? Is that a industrial ba or agricultural ba? Ano ba setup niyan? Ang lupa ba niya ay mabato, maputik, or what? 'Di ba? So, yung bang resources na doon sa bansa na yon ay agricultural ba or what? So ito yung mga kailangan inaalam. Because dito natin makikita, sabi nga, dito natin makikita kung paano tayo makipag-deal with other people or nation. Second, human. Human, or how human interaction modifies the environment and spatial organization. So yung paano yung behavior natin. 'Di ba? Kasi if we interact, 'di ba? So ibig sabihin na modify natin, ibig sabihin nagagamit natin yung environment natin sa tamang paraan. What if kung hindi, 'di ba? And then number 3, regional, it's a combination or combines both the physical and human. So ito po yung holistic examination of the territories. So ibig sabihin, no, na pinagsama na yung dalawa in order to determine both the entire aspects nung meron sa loob ng isang geography. Okay. So as I said kanina, a region compose of a large sizes of territories. Okay? Hindi ko alam kung sino na-add ko, but I think it's a girl. I don't know kung sino siya. Again, large size territories, as I said kanina, composed of countries, provinces, no? Large sections of countries such as halimbawa Midwest. Ang Midwest po, maliit na area yan, no? Part ng US. It also encompasses many places, the all or most of which is set to attributes to of places and make up different. So pag tinignan nyo po yung picture, makikita nyo this is referring to North America. And you can see in North America, there is a bigger mass of land, but in America itself, there are around 51 states to consider. And in the different states, there are different perspective. If sinabi kong perspective, nandun po yung different type of people, type of natural resources na meron sila, mga type of yung cultural practices na meron sila, and so forth. It also included yung mga social way of life, economic way of life, and many things. So, in a world of regions considered as a dynamic and changing. They said there are two ways, no, a process of people to or people's activities which is changing the environment and the people being affected by the environment. It also created, no, by people responding to the opportunities and constraints presented by the environment. Kaya tingnan niyo po yung mundo natin. So this is how they set up, no? They setting the boundaries between what we call the world regions. Kung titignan po natin yung mapa, ang daming linya or may linya na hindi natin maintindihan paano nagkaroon ng mga ganyan-ganyan linya. Okay? So later malalaman natin. So the regional approach is actually classified into three. One, logical. Two, groupings. And three, homogeneity. Groupings, magkakasama sila. Homogeneity, may kapareha sila, similarity, whatever. And yung logical, yung way of how they think, kung paano sila mag-isip, kung paano nila ginagawa yung changes na yan. Formal regions, like for example, yung picture na yan, there is what you call the high degree of homogeneity. Okay, yan yung mga formal regions like kulay-kulay, yung kanilang mga pagkain, mga kung ano-ano. Functional regions characterized of what we call functional organization of human occupancy. Diba? So, yan yung mga countries na mayaman, which is referring to the North regions. So, in geography, there is dependence. It instead the tangible partitioning of the space within which, no, different process operate. So, sabi natin there is a interdependent, there is a world regions, no, there is a national states, and supranational organization. So alam natin sa setting ng isang mundo, may mga composition of different process, no, or organization na tinatawag. Okay? So nyari sa isang state, like for example in America, may mga national states sila. Tapos boundaries, no, like for example yung NAFTA. Sa supranatural, within the areas, no, mga countries na within the same area sila. Sa world regions, of course, nandiyan United Nations and other organization like as Asia Pacific Council, etc. and so forth. Na? So what is regionalization or regionalization? So in a regionalization, it means that the geographer classified of individual places and the area units. So paano sila na-divide? Okay? The geographers usually use an scientific classification or equivalent of scientific. So gumagamit ng scientific tools na tinatawag. And this is how they use it. Sa regionalization, ito kung paano nila dinivide ang mundo. They divided the world into what we call now as the North and the South. Based sa line, okay, tinignan nyo po yung white line, tingnan nyo kung paano po nilinyahan. Okay? Kung paano nila ginroupings, sabi natin kanina, they group it based on local divisions, groupings, and homogeneity. At pag tinignan nyo ang picture, ayan po siya. Diba? Mapakasakit tignan pero nakita niyo yung linya, kumakaliwa, bumababa, tumataas, umi-eksena, nagbabago ng position. Pero sabi natin pag dinivide dapat based on the reality, no, with regards to resources, no, yung whatever it is, dapat ganun dapat ang sistema. But again, as I said, ito yung kanilang basis. So, aside from dividing the world into two, they call the country or the world into four models. Okay, namely, the first world, which is referring to developed countries. Ito po yung mga capitalist, industrial countries, roughly, no? A block of countries which is aligned to United States, no? Ito, alam na natin, pag block of country which is aligned to America, mayaman, pare-pero dapat ang kulay, di ba? Iisa yung kanilang kaisipan, etc. so forth. So these are most likely, they are more or less common on political and economic interests like North America, Western Europe, Japan, and Australia. The second world is the second world, syempre. Okay? Referred to the former communist socialists, no, dating communist na naging socialist, which is considered industrial state, formerly of Eastern Bloc siya, no, like yung mga Russian or USSR before na naging independent, na naging Russian na tawag ngayon, and in fact, nandyan din ang Poland, and even some Turk state like yung Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, etc. lahat na may tan sa dulo. Okay? And of course, China. The third is the third world. As we understand, this is despite of evolving definition. Sabi natin, the concept of third world serve to identify countries that suffer from infant morality, low income development, high levels of poverty, low utilization of natural resources, and heavy dependence on industrial nation. So classified tayo dito. And these are the developing countries and the technologically the less advanced nations, of course, composition of Asia, Africa, Oceania, and Latin America. So kung ika-classify natin, ito po yung mga bansa na medyo, sabihin na natin hindi medyo, magulo ang sistema. Magulo ang politika, magulo ang ekonomiya, magulo ang lahat, maraming tao, etc. Hindi katulad ng socialist, konti lang ang problema, hindi katulad sa capitalist or doon sa first world, ay maayos lahat ng sistema. The fourth model is the third world nations. Okay? The economies dependent on the developed countries and are greatly or generally characterized as poor with unstable government and having high rates of population growth, illiteracy, and of course, diseases. So the key factors of this is the lack of middle class with impoverished millions of in a vast lower economic class and a very small elite upper class controlling the country's wealth and resources. Most third world nation po also have a very large foreign debt. So ang best example ng country po niyan ay ang Myanmar and Bangladesh. Actually, yung Bangladesh po talaga yung isa talaga pinaka dyan. So what is meant by this division, the global divide? The digital divide describes global disparities primarily because developed and developing countries in regards to access and computing and information resources such as internet and opportunities derived from such access. Kung titignan natin yung picture, nakita natin nahati ang mundo, nahati ang lupa. Isang bansa na tinatawag nating North na maganda ang buhay kasi merong rainbow, at yung isang bayan na nahati yung lupa na kabilang side na merong barriers. So this is a classification of North with rainbow, and of course the South ay yung may barriers na tinatawag. Okay? So basically in the North, meron silang mga computer resources, they have capitals, they have everything. With regards to health services, technologies, nasa kanila. While for the South is different. So most likely there is a lack of information or lack of communication or lack of technology. No? As in talagang makikita natin they are not stable in many ways. Okay? So the two sides of the details over slavery were divided between the two. So kung babalikan natin ang world history, paano pa nag-start po ba yung slavery na yan? We understand due to the colonization, most countries, like for example Great Britain, be considered as the most powerful country at that time, and they were able to capture people or even bring people from their colonized country, bring into their country, and it turns out to become slave. Those who are not capable or cannot be, hindi na useful, unuseful na tinatawag natin, they tend to kill them, and in fact, hinuhulog pa nga sa dagat dyan. So if you're familiar with the Amistad story or movie, yun po ang story noon. Others were escaped, so they become independent. However, they treated also with the other countries as a slave. So sa Amerika, kung babalikan natin slavery, ang slavery doon is very high. Because from then on, even Dr. Rizal mentioned that, sabi nga nyo, that America is a land, a country for a good opportunity, but only for the white people. So alam natin very high ang racial discrimination. So that's why there is a story sa Amerika, yung laban ni Abraham Lincoln, because he was the president who fight for the right of the black slaves or black people. He fight for the slavery, So ano po ginagawa sa kanila? Slave sila. Tagagawa sila ng mga daan, ng riles ng tren, ng mga kung ano-ano, etc. Okay? So aside from the black as a slavery, alam din natin na they also getting some people from China as known as the coolie Chinese. They tend to work in the railroads for 24 hours without rest, etc. So makita natin. And even the young ones are also considered slave as long as you belong to the poor classification. Parang sa Pilipinas lang, naka-classified tayong Indio, 'di ba? Meron tayong mestizo, meron tayong insulares, peninsulares, ganun din ang setup. So how they treated us, ganun din po yung setup na yan. But again, very high. And even during that slavery time, we understand na yung mga northerners, they view the slavery as an evil. Dahil In the first place, yung kulay, di ba, iba sa kanila, etc. But others naman po did not obey the fugitive slaves law. No, for the reason that they were cruel and inhumane. Kasi dahil nagre-react sila, nagre-respond sila doon sa trabaho na pinagagawa sa kanila. Kasi nga yung mga lords, abusado rin. Guys, sa atin, di ba? Kapag inaabuso tayo, nagre-reklamo tayo, ano ginagawa sa atin? Sasaktan tayo. So that's the story of the slavery. So the global south and the global south, Abidjan, is made of Africa, Latin America, and the developed Asia, including the Middle East. The global south po means lack of appropriate technology and it has no political stability. So sinabi ko na kanina, the economies are disarticulated and even the foreign exchange or foreign exchange earnings depends on primarily for a certain products lang. So like for example, in the Middle East, oil, sa mga Latinos areas, no, yung mga Asian, Latin America, puro mga products sa agricultural. Same with us, no, in Asia, puro meron din products sa atin more on agricultural. So kung ano lang yung product na meron natin produce, yun lang. Kaya in some point, hindi maganda yung development sa atin. So again, as I said, it only depends primarily for product exports. Like for example, yung king cottons, no, na-mention ko yan nung ating previous, aside from silk. Okay? The concept of gap between the global and north, the global south and north, terms of a development and wealth, which is classifying yung mga countries then. And then in 1890s, the brand line was developed. Ito po yung branded, parang connected do sa Bretton Woods na tinatawag natin, as the way of showing how the world was geographically split into relatively as richer and poorer. So, October of 1896, nag-start yung development na yan, during 1861 rather, by Karl Marx. And Karl Marx is the founder of socialism. He was living actually in a prime rose hill who summed up a view of the British press and intended to know the war between the North and the South is because of the tariff war. So, dahil nagre-reklamo, dahil nga panahon niya, 1861, more on mercantilismo, more on communism, kumbaga control. So, ang laging nirereklamo ng mga tao is yung too much, no, too high of collection of taxes or tariffs. Kaya nagkakaroon ng war dahil yung misunderstanding kagaya sa Pilipinas, one of the reasons of why we have a mutiny or kumbaga fight or rebellion na nangyari, it's because of the abuses through the so-called agrarian issues. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng mga wars, kaya nagkaroon ng mga, aside from agrarian issues, yung collection of taxes, di ba? So in this case, not more or not for many principle does not also touch the questions of the slavery. So lagi yung issue lang yan, pero yung touches of slavery hindi na pag-uusapan. Okay? So the issue of slavery caused tensions between the North and the South. So many Northerners po who oppose slavery look at the steam position, while the Northern workers naman and immigrants impose slavery because it was economic to them. So what does it mean? So you remember, in rich countries, they tend to get more people as a slave, di ba? So, how they treated it. So, i-explain mo na lang yan kagaya sa Pilipinas kung paano tinitreat ang mga polistas. Diba? So, it's more on economic matters sila. So, if you will not work, you will not get. So, di ba? Ganun ang setup nila. Okay? So, the South, as we understand with the GOP, economy was based on cotton. So, as sabi ko nga sa inyo, they only merely focus on one product. So, they focus on cotton and all of it, the slaves are working for it daily, no, 24 hours probably, and they only receive of a few money. Southern economy was weak and vulnerable because it depended entirely on cotton. Cotton lang kasi yung product nila eh. Single croppings ang nangaalam. Kaya hindi sila nagiging progressive. So very profitable naman po ang cotton. Okay, that's why yung period na yan, they call it the growing of what we called the king cotton. Now what about the North? The economy was based on industries and major businesses, commerce, and finances. Ibig sabihin, nasa kanila mga technologies. They have capitals. North had many manufacturing factories that had dealt with the textile. So, saan nila kinukuha yan? Doon sa mga taga-South. Kaya nga, yung slavery, sino nagpapasimuno ng slavery? North, di ba? So, the biggest business of the North was the railroad construction. Na-mention na natin from the start. Transportation was easier because of the railroads. Kasi business eh. Diba? Kailangan madala nila yung product. Kaya kailangan nila maraming manggagawa. So hindi na touch nga yung question of slavery. Kasi nga trabaho kailangan kita. Okay? So again, ito po yung difference, yung gap nilang dalawa. And the term used to describe economic gap between the rich and northern countries, of course, ang tawag din natin ngayon at present is that's north and the south. So, how to define? Sabi nga natin, to simplify how it was start. Paano po ba nag-start, nagsimula yan? Primarily, it was started po ito, yung simula ng development during the Cold War. Okay? The primary global division was between the East and West. Actually, prior to call that East and West, ang tawag ng ang mundo dati as rich and poor. Nasakta ng mga babang bansa, so ginawa nilang East and West. And afterwards, dahil hindi rin parang hindi maganda dahil nandun yung invasion, nandun yung colonization ng ibang mga bansa like Portugal and Spain, tinawag nila ngayon at present, the contemporary times, as the North and the South. After the Cold War, many seen primarily global decisions being between North and South na. Kasi nakita natin yung transition. Okay? So there are different issues, sabi nga natin, with the North and South. It's divided into different issues. One, distribution of income around the world. Second, economic competition worldwide. Third, the standard of living. Let's start with the standard of living. Under the standard of living, there are different factors that lead to low of standard living. Okay, particularly to sa South. One, there's a lack of trade and aids. Obviously, if you have no capital, there is no objectively, you cannot trade. Diba? Meron kang product but you cannot trade kasi wala kang capital. You don't have also technology. And even the people who in charge for trading, hindi mo sila, dahil konti yung mga elite people tinatawag. So, wala kang magiging trade. So, mamumulema ka talaga. What about aid? Dahil walang nagbi-business, mahirap yung bansa mo, wala ka ding makukuhang tulong sa kanila. And that's one of the reasons in many countries they suffered this kind of it. And why they were not able to participate in the trading before. Bakit ang nagte-trade lang puro mga mayaman? Second, single crops farming. Ano po yung single crops mining? Kung ano yung kinagistaan na tanim lang natin, yun lang. Sample, nagtatanim ako ng bigas ngayon. 3 months bago siya tumubo. After 3 months, ano na itatanim ko? Wala. So, what will be the effect? Pagkakaroon ka ng problema sa pagkain. Pagkakaroon ng scarcity na tinatawag tayo. Diba? Magkakaroon ng limitation of products or resources. Yung demands mo mataas, kukunti yung supply. So, dapat nag-iisip ka ng alternative way. Kagaya ng North, they are thinking of alternative way. No? So, nagkakaroon from single to multiple. Ibig sabihin, kung nagtanim ka ngayon, aani ka halimbawa, March, April, aanim ka, aani ka ng bigas, dapat after you cultivate it or harvest it, ano ang pwede mong ipalit? Ano yung next product na pwede mong itanim para magkaroon ng sufficiency for the next month and the next year na tinatawag. So may alternative. But in a law standard, kung bakit mababa tayo is because of this kind of mentality. Third, abundance of debt. So bakit tayo nagkaroon ng abundance? Sabi nga natin, if there is a lack of trade, so ano ginagawa ng mga bansa? They tend to look for financer, mga financing agency, they borrowed money, so nalulugmok tayo. Okay? Kagaya natin sa Pilipinas, we always borrowed money from international. Utang tayo ng utang, taas din ang taas ng utang natin. But mentioned ng ating Pangulo ngayon, no? We are still capable and strong. I don't know if it is strong, pero parang pinagloloko tayo, no? Na ma-manipulate pero talagang hindi eh. Hindi nakikita, hindi nararamdaman, sabi nga. But what about neocolonialism? With the impact of colonizers, ano po ang ginawa sa atin? Let's have example in the Philippines na lang. We were colonized by Spain for more than 333 years. And what is the system they implemented to us? They never give us the better way or better life. Kung meron man, few. They introduce simple things like, for example, education. But with regards to trading, they did not teach us the right way of what is the best trading na tinatawag. Anong ginawa sa atin? Nagte-trade tayo pero nagkukurap sila. Ano nangyari sa mga bangko natin na bankrupt, nasira, nawala, kaya sa history natin nawala yung mga old buildings natin. Marami tayong mga buildings ito, institution na talagang very good ang kanyang performance during that time, pero wala na nangyari. Kasi nga, yung mentality natin. We imbibe, no? We embrace and imbibe na embrace pa, no? We embrace and practice those kind of mentality. Like for example, palangka mentality. Bahala na system. Manya na habit, mamaya na. Diba? These are all a negative impact, sabi nga natin. And naka-impact din yan kung bakit nagiging low standard tayo. And this is how we Filipino, no, behavior ng Pilipino, bakit ganito tayo sabog. I use the term sabog. Dahil hindi mo maintindihan ugali eh. Nag-a-ask ka ng changes and yet parang ayaw mo naman ng changes. You still perform or you still doing the old ways. Sabi nga no, if you want to better a good life for future, you need to focus the present to the future. Ibig sabihin, mag-move forward tayo. All the problems of the past is just only a references natin. Pwede natin siyang gamitin as references para kung ano yung mali natin sa past, we can improve it. So that moving in the present or going to future, mas bad. But Filipino, through the neocolonialism practices, we tend to return. Ibig sabihin, binabalik pa natin. Diba? Ibinabalik pa natin yung history ng mali. Dapat we move forward in the best way. Second, distribution of income around the world. As you can see with the picture, dapat equal. But how they divided the distribution of income to the world. Pag sinabi kong income dito, hindi lang yung income totally we are referring to money, but the resources itself. Paano po ba na-divide? Liberalization of a market occurs, most South countries lost to the competition from the North. Correct. Kasi hindi pantay eh. So through the changes, no, yung closing the gap, nabago. Through the World Trade Organization, nabago. So they were given a chance, the others, no, to trade. Kaya nagkaroon ng opportunity ang karamihan. But before, it's only for limited, only for a few countries lang. And they are all considered rich before. They encouraged migration of people from south to north for having a more good in income, which is correct. Even right now, ganyan po nangyayari. Diba? Most of the people from the south, they tend to think and even, of course, dreaming to go to the dream countries. Kagaya nyo, medtech kayo soon. Sabi natin, magiging medical technologist kayo. Diba? Professional medtech. Diba? Hindi naman kayo mag-i-stay din sa Pilipinas. In fact, some of you will go to abroad. Kasi may dream kayo eh. And that's it. And the North countries, they are welcoming that kind of perspective. Bakit? New opportunities yun. I mean to say, new knowledge yun. New energy, new power, new labor force na tinatawag natin. New mental, ibig sabihin new education, new knowledge, ibig sabihin new experience. Yan ang gusto ng mga North. Kukunin nila ikayo. Kaya yung mga nasa South, naiiwanan kung ano kung sino lang yung nandoon. So ang nag-excel ay yung mga nasa South, mga nasa North. So ngayon, as you understand, ang South lumalaban na rin. They are now improving their country so that people from the South, they stay. Or, if not to stay within the area itself or their country, but rather to move for the same South din. Lilipat ka lang din sa South. Kagaya natin, I think, some of you, baka gusto pumunta ng Middle East. In fact, maraming Pilipino, mga medtech, pumupunta ngayon sa Middle East. Tapos mas malaki sweldo eh. Sa totoo lang. Diba? So, ayan. Third, economic competition. And under of it, there are factors to consider. Number one, appropriate infrastructure. Second, stable macroeconomic framework. And third, well-functioning public and private institution. Sa North, lahat yan okay. But for the South, it is not. Okay? We don't have an appropriate infrastructure. Ano ba nakikita natin ngayon? Stable macro. Stable ba ang money? Let me say income? The national growth national growth product, yung mga pera stable ba? Hindi. Kasi may problema tayo eh. What about the function of the public and the private? Hindi rin. Kasi ang private natin, okay pa. Pero ang public, hindi. Diba? So ito yung problem ng South. But for the North, everything's good. With regards to the institution, for example, sa health sa mga hospitals, they have the technology which normally they don't carry. Ngayon ang technology nila, share ko lang, baka may mga relative din kayo na Ako, ang kapatid ko, sinasabi niya, hindi na raw sila nagbubuhat ng pasyente. Dati binubuhat nila, lalagay sa stretcher or kaya sa wheelchair. Ngayon hindi. May isang machine na upuan na kapag dumating ang pasyente, ilalapit lang yung machine na yon, yung upuan na machine na yon. At siya na kukuha doon sa pasyente. Iuupo ba niya o ihiga niya, siya na rin ang bahala. Okay? Ngayon, pag nag-oopera na, hindi na sila Dati, pag nag-o-opera, gumagamit, inihiwa pa yung balat ng tao. Diba? Pero ngayon, hindi na. No? May silang ginagamit ngayon. Ang daming mga ways na iba sa atin. Diba? Ito lang sample natin. Even sa medicines, kita naman natin difference. Diba? Yeah. Now, what are the reasons for this kind of development gap? One, because of the environmental or environment, historical, and socio-economic. Environment or environmental referring to natural features like the soil. Bakit ba ganito itsura bakit hindi nakakapag-trading yung tao o yung bansang ito? Kasi yung lupa nila hindi siya pang-cultivate, pang-agriculture. Mabato. So, ano product lang ang pwede? So, limited. Yung lugar niya itself, hindi ganun kalaki. So, limited. Historical, things that have happened to the country. Ano ba yung history ng background na nangyari sa Pilipinas? Sa gaya natin. Multi-colonizer pumunta sa atin, iba-ibang perspective, iba-ibang culture. Kaya ang tendency ng utak natin, nagre-rebel, pero gusto natin ng pagbabago, tapos binabalik rin natin. Okay? Socio-economic, socio-cultural, and money. Everything is of course impact nito sa religion, society. Ano ang impact niya sa religion? What about the cultures and practices natin? And even money. Okay? So the development gap for some countries, sabi niyan, some countries po are developing faster than others po. Many Asian countries po are quickly developing while many African countries po are slowly developing. Kasi nga, ang daming problema sa kanila. So here are some of the major differences of the two countries. For the north, there's a less population, high wealth, high standard of living, high industrial development, and most likely focus on industry. While for the south, we have large population, masipag kasi ang mga tao, low wealth, low standard of living, low industrial development, but most likely focus on agriculture. So you can see also here the ledger of impact problems or differences of the north and the south. So makikita nyo with regards to population, ang laki-laki po sa south, samantalang sa north, tingnan niyo maikli lang. Okay? Or kokonti, ibig sabihin ng kokonti hindi na-achieve. Samantalang yung blue color ng north, 'di ba? Mas malaki yung natatamasa o nakukuha. So there are classifications. So with this, they classified the world the countries into three. One is the most developed countries. Second is less developed countries. And the third po is the least developed countries. To simplify, pag sinabi nating most developed countries, ito po yung mga rich countries. So parang first world yan. Okay? Ang less po dyan, ang second world. At ang least, ito po yung third world. We belong to this world. Tandaan nyo po another term po yan. When you look down with the NOAA o yung tinatawag natin yung Earth during the night, at night po yan, makikita natin ang mga bansa na busy, maliwanag, ayan po siya. So illuminating its communities at night and much poorer global, ito po yung mga hindi nakikita. So with the color itself, ito po yung mga bansa na 24/7 gising at nagtatrabaho because they tend to look and they are after with a profit. So what are the comparisons? Comparisons between the north and the south is not only just aspect, but it can only be seen through the different angles. One is political, two economic or economical, and three the social. Political, you can see, iba-iba. The south political system o south regions, ano ba ang political system sa atin? Magulo, kagaya sa Pilipinas. Hindi mo alam ang gusto. More on monarchical. Yung monarchical, ang dami-dami anak, di ba? Maraming mga kung ano-ano, tapos sila, etc. Even yung mga relative or countries within the neighboring countries niya, di ba? Sila magkakamag-anakan pero nag-aaway-away. Sabihin, ang point natin is, through political, hindi nagiging stable sa South. Magulo. Kaya magulo ang sistema. Nandyan ang corruptions. Dahil hindi maayos-ayos. Economic, look at it. Sino ba nagpamanipulate? Only those considered as lords, yung mga mayaman. And for the social, mas maraming problema sa atin sa South rather than the North. Kasi sa North, lahat nabibigay. Dahil meron silang right path na tinatawag or right way. Okay? So, what is actually the real reason behind of it? Ito po yung reason na mention na natin. True colonialism. Ano ba yung impact ng colonialism sa atin? Bakit ganito ugali ng mga Pilipino? Nag-a-ask tayo ng changes pero hindi natin nababago because of the colonialism. The impact of colonialism. Okay? Yung na-acquire natin. Trade. How we dealt with them. Paano tayo mag-trade ngayon? Nakita nyo kung sino may kakayahan, kung sino rich, you're the only one who can stay in the market or can compete. And even death. Okay? So I think explanation. Some European countries po, they started to capture the world and they were able to colonize many of the worlds, many countries of the world. Like for example, Great Britain. Almost all countries of the world, half of the world, they colonize it. So that's why they call it superpower. And what kind of treatment they applied to that countries. Others are good, others are not. But those who are under the colonial of Britain, naging good ang life nila. But what about the case of the Philippines? We were colonized by Spain. But supposed to be, dapat under tayo ng Portugal. Sabi ko nga kung siguro Portugal ang sumakop sa atin, mayaman tayo Kasi maayos. So ibig sabihin, sa Kastila pa lang may mali na Dahil from then on, the system of Spanish in the Philippines, the government itself, magulo na rin. Saka nakakita, nagpa ano ka no, navigation ka no, seek ka ng mga lands or whatever. Ang carrier plug mo bansa mo pero ang taong pinadala mo ay hindi mo kadugo, hindi mo ka Espanyol, kundi ka Portuguese pa. 'Di ba? So dito pala makikita within themselves nag-aaway-away na. So ito yung sa atin natin. So they control one power over the defended areas of the country, of the people. Like for us, they controlled us. Diba? Trade. So, paano ba trading? Barter sharing. But right now, ang trade natin, which already meron na tayo tinatawag na trade war. Okay? So what making at selling the product? Paano tayo magbenta? Sa same color, groupings, etc. Kung saan magbe-benefit and etc. doon lang. But what about the others? At kung sa palagay nila hindi magbe-benefit, magkakaroon tayo ng issues and problems, which is like right now, what happened to China and America, di ba? Nagkakaroon ng trade war. Okay? So kapag ang southern countries po suffered from this dahil hindi dating kaya makipag-trade Di ba? Debt. Dahil wala tayong pamban-trade, mangutang tayo. Kaya yung bato, na sobrang daming utang, babagsakan na tayo, mababaon tayo sa utang. Diba? Kung di natin gagawin. So with the division, the North and the South po, or the rich and the poor, is the socio-economic and political division that exists between the wealthy developed countries known collectively as the North, and the other one po is the South. The North po is in fact located in the North Hemisphere, while the South po primarily in the South Hemisphere. Okay? So as a nation becomes economically developed, they also may become a part of the North regardless of the geographical location. Kaya tignan mo po yung picture natin. So may dalawang tao nag-uusap, both of it isang sort North and South. But since you are dealing with them, so minsan in some point, napapabilang ka kung meron kang changes na ginagawa. Like for example, yung mga socialists. The North most likely covered the West and the First World po, with which match the Second World. However, there's a gap. Sabi nga natin, development gap. So the North and the South divide more recently been managed or named a development gap. These places gathered or greater emphasis of closing development. So tingnan nyo po yung picture natin. Dito pala makikita nyo pag North, matataas yung mga building. Pag South, tingnan nyo po yung mga bahay. Pag North, mas taas, magaganda mga bahay. Pag mahihirap, South ang classification. So ganito na ngayon distinction natin. Kapag hindi mo tatawagin rich and poor, but you will call it as the North and the South. So pag hindi nila naintindihan, zip na lang natin kasi pag sinabi mo, ay mahirap mayaman, masasaktan pa, di ba? But this is now the term that we are now using. The term economic development, there exists an economic gap between the North and the South. So look at the picture itself. Makikita natin ang rich, lalong yung mayaman. And in fact, yung pera pa nga nung poor, in some point, kinukuha pa. So the process of which regional economies, societies, and cultures have become integrated through global networks. So gumawa sila ng paraan of political ideas through communication, transportation, and trade. So ibig sabihin, improving. That's why in Great Britain, they started to build trains and railroads. Ayan. So in this case, they started also to change the different types of model. We have what we call the three models of the world. Namely, the capitalist, which basically, it is the idea of Adam Smith, diba? Yung Laissez-faire Act, okay? Wherein the government can intervene in some point of the capitalist system. In a capitalist, their economy system is which the countries trade more on trade, industry, and profits are controlled with the private companies. Kagaya natin, communist tayo, capitalist tayo, but no longer a pure capitalist, but rather mix ang ginagamit natin. In some point, pwede natin gamitin ang characteristics ng South or the socialism rather, or vice versa, communism and socialism. But generally, majority of it is capitalism system. Communism is the second one. It is a state of world, no? These communist states often do not claim and have achieved socialism or communism, but rather they claim only to be building and working towards the establishment of socialism in their countries. Developing is the third. Okay, poor countries, no, like of course tayo, is seeking to become more advanced. Despite of being capital tayo, pero hindi tayo classified talaga as rich kagaya ng mga nasa north. They are still part of what we call developing. Okay? These countries are characterized of being less developed industry and lower human development index when compared to other countries. Have also health risks such as having low access of safe water and as well as sanitation and hygiene problems. So this is how they divided or they map, no? They mark they colored, no? Kung para divide or they map the model map, no, ng world ng mundo. So the green color po ay capitalist, ang yellow po ay ang socialism approach natin, and of course yung third po natin ay develop, yung mga red color po. Aside from the three models, meron din tayong 5 models. Namely, ito po yung hierarchy tinatawag. So we have the first world, second world, third world, fourth world, and fifth world. So makikita natin sa baba anong distinction na merong high, moderate, ways lang, no, or ordered ways, or we call it a on the ways po. And then yung fourth po ay lower at yung fifth po ang pinaka-lowest. Hierarchy po yan. Okay? So the rich, as mentioned here, is that 1% of the world population daw receive as much at income at the poorest of 57. But sabi niya, for what reason? Number 1, because of the lack trade, abundance of debt, lack of aid, and neo-colonialism. There is also a failure in the international organization like participation in IMF, WB, World Bank, and World Trade Organization. There is also adverse climatic condition. And of course, lastly, there is a difficulty of transforming the establishment or the established. So in order to, sabi natin, to remove all this gap, so i-close natin yung gap na yan. So how they going to do that? Through the function of the organization, the United Nations. They develop a program dedicated to narrowing the divide through its Millennial Development Goals or SDGs. Prior to that, MDGs ang tawag. And this includes improving education, para matuto tayo, and also the healthcare, para sa mga problems natin, sa mga health diseases and whatever problems for health. Promoting gender equality, which is also number 1 din. In fact, mataas nga ito sa mataas daw ito sa parehong regions, North and South, pero mas marami sa South siyempre. And ensuring environmental sustainability. However, despite of this kind of goals, sabi nga natin, still, the problem is nandyan pa rin. Ibig sabihin, naka-address, pero hindi siya nawawala. Ibig sabihin, napapalitan o naayos. Kasi, for every year, program plans ng SDGs, nagdadagdag sila. No? Dahil from 2005, naging 2015, 2015, naging 2025, 2030, 2060. So ngayon, ang MDGs po ay 2030 and right now, we are now in 2026. So dapat ma-project at ma-achieve natin. But again, sabi nga natin, this program was already introduced sa atin by 2020 or prior to that. Pero ang problem nandiyan pa rin. So aside from closing the gap of implementing the different goals, we need to also to come up with organizations. Kaya tinatawag natin Asian regionalization or regionalism in globalization. We need to come up and form a different organizations in order to tackle all these kind of problems. Like for example, the ASEAN, the Southeast Asian Associations. So we have our own associations within ourselves, within our areas. And we are also members of Southeast Asian or the ASEAN. We are also members of United Nations, etc. So through this, which sabi ko nga kanina, they tackled any kind of problem so that all that kind of problems will settle, no? Like for example, for hunger, poverty. So dapat iisa because the dream of one organization is the dream for everybody. So ibig sabihin, kapag tayo ay isang miyembro ng isang organization, hindi lang yung sarili mo isipin mo. But you understand also that we need to also improve the other lives of other countries. So ito yung Asian regionalism, no? Like yung NAFTA na mention natin, ng association ng China, ng Russia, Mexico, Canada, and America, but it so happened na nagkakaroon ng problema. Okay? Yung mga problem na yan, it's somehow kailangan na nagiging part lang yan kasi part yan ng ano natin ano. Pero syempre, we need to settle everything. So like for example, the case of China and the Philippines. So hindi tayo makapagdigma totally in the sense na hindi kaya natin. But of course, dun tayo sa maayong aspeto. So ito yung mga organization na yan. They tend to stand and also to settle and pacify this kind of problem. Asian regionalism is a product of economic interactions, okay, not on political planning. So ang objective nito, economic. Kung kailangan ma-achieve natin yung yumaman tayo, we need to go back with the rightful position kasi tayo yung mayaman dati. So as a result of successful onwards-oriented growth strategy, kaya tignan mo, yung mundo gumagawa ng way para ma-improve siya. Okay? So Asian economies have also grown not only richer but also closer together. So hand in hand. So the success of one is the success of everything. So the Asian regionalism could also bring huge benefit not only from the Asia but also to the world. Kasi mayroong mga taong pwedeng padala, di ba? It could also help sustain the region's growth under peace and stability, and it also with the right policies reduce inequality. Correct. Kaya dapat yung good governance. In the Asian regionalism, as the early stage of Asian economic takeoff, regional integration process or proceeded slowly. Most likely in Asian regionalism, like for example, East Asia, yung economics nila, in particular, focus on exporting. No? Bakit exporting? Kasi nga, yun ang ginagawa nila ngayon. Product exporting. So they need to invest and to prioritize yung mga product nila para mas maging maganda. And look at the example, no? Taiwan. Ano ina-export nila? Textile, semiconductors, no? Ito yung mga gamit din and many things. Even mga product ng food, agricultural, mga fruits, di ba? Sina-export nila eh. So, yan po yan. So they are specialized with that. Now, in a simple, labor-intensive manufacturing. At present, through Asian economies are becoming closely intertwined and because the region's developed strategy has changed, no? But it remains predominantly or non-discriminatory and outward-oriented. Kung titignan nyo yung picture, no? So makikita nyo iba't-ibang mga kulay. That's a new ideas. They shared one another. Hindi dapat kinikep lang yan in one system, but rather to share it. So, with this, nagkakaroon tayo ng emerging Asian economies that had opened up their financial market. So ayan, nagliparan na. Ibig sabihin, nag-exchange tayo. Okay, Indonesia, Republic of Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, and Thailand were actually worst hit tayo ng problem, ng financial problem. But then, we sustain, no? Na-maintain natin yan, we sustain it, and even we were able to stood up, sabi nga natin. So ayan. Kaya tingnan nyo ngayon, the Philippines now is actually eyeing by many countries of the world as a model tayo with regards to how we survive with the different kinds of problems like yung financial problems na yan. Sabi nila babagsak tayo pero hindi tayo nagkaroon ng problema. Kaya ginagamit nila, nagiging tayo, basis nila tayo. Most of them also use the crisis and opportunity to pursue wide-ranging reforms and in finance, as well as the other areas of weaknesses and the crisis exposed. Asia emerged with a greater appreciation and its shared interests and the value of regional cooperation. Kaya tingnan yung picture, diba? Meron na pong sumisigaw at sabay-sabay na sila nagsasagwan. Iisa yung direction. Hindi katulad dati, walang sumisigaw, tapos yung mga taong nakaupo, yung mga leaders, kanya-kanyang sagwan. Yung isa counter, yung isa naman ibang yung isa naman imbis na dalawa ang gagamitin, isa lang, ginaganon-ganon lang niya. Yun siya naman, dalawa pabaliktad. So, paano tayo nakakausad? So, this time, with the new ideas, so dapat sabay-sabay tayo. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina, the success of one is the success of every regions. So Asian regionalism is emerging against the backdrop of the remarkable half-century economic development. In the decades of from the 1956 no, to 1996, the East Asian living standards are measured by real output per person, yung inflation, rose at a rate faster than the fast ever been sustained anywhere else. Other Asian economies po rank the upper tier of the world's growth distribution over for 4 decades. The standard of the 16 integrating ASEAN economies or countries or economies rather analyzed in the study grew with an average of 5% a year, while the world will average only up 1.9%. There is also an extraordinary result have achieved or were achieved by economies that differed widely in size, income, endowment of natural rather and human, and the capital resources, specialized patterns, political organization, even language po, culture, and history. So there is also a term of flying in sequence. So kung mapapansin ninyo, lahat po dapat ang arrow pataas. The competition is very important with this. In a global market, it is a part of the heart of what is now understood of East Asia Development Model. Model natin, in fact, ginagamit nila yung CASNETS model. There are several types of models, no? Pero ang ginagamit po dito ng East Asia is CASNETS, which is very effective. Kasi tayo iba ginagamit nating model nakakabuisit laging short term. Dapat long term tayo, kaya hindi nagiging successful So when the model emerged in 1950s, it focused on the labor-intensive effort, no? And the prevailing big push development strategy favored large coordinated investments in a bid to achieve economies of a scale, and usually in import competing industries. So that's why in a flying sequence, you can see from the picture, no, aside from in the development, East Asian development, it's instead allied or relied rather on the regional or the regions abundant ascent of relative well-educated, o may mga low-wage labor in time leverage, it will also ample savings and investment. So ibig sabihin, kung maraming mga nakapag-aral, 'di ba? Tapos yung mga mabababa ang trabaho o yung sweldo, so kailangan bigyan ng malaking sweldo, tamang sweldo para magkaroon ng opportunity na makapagtabi at maka-invest yung tao. Sa Pilipinas hindi ganito. 'Di ba? Ang mga may-ari ng mga institusyon sa atin, sila lang gustong yumaman, 'di ba? Sila lang. Although they try to send their workers para mag-aral, but they never receive. Kaya nga 'di ba sabi nga natin, it's better to work nga, no? Ginagawa natin, tatrabaho tayo sa ibang bansa kasi nga mas maganda. So the model emerged in Japan, for example, during the aftermath of the World War. Ano po ba nangyari sa Japan? We understand, no? Binam sila, nasira ang madami. So ang hirap-hirap mabuhay sa panahon ng Hapon. Pero what they did is, they stood up, sabi nga natin, tumayo sila sa kanilang mga paa, they tried their best in order to fight all those kind of problems. And look at now, right now. Look at Japan now. They engage in telecommunications, I mean to say electronics. They are the best country with regards to electronics. They invented a lot of machines, sabi nga natin. Most of it is in the use of motor company, di ba? Yung mga sasakyan, even yung mga robots, even yung mga kung ano-ano, lahat yan. So this is what it did. And even Hong Kong is also doing their best, sabi nga natin. China, Republic of Korea, Singapore. Actually, may kwento nga sa akin a friend of mine who is actually in Korea. Sabi niya, alam mo ba ma'am, actually estudyante ko siya. Okay? Tapos, sabi niya, alam niyo ma'am dito, robot na. Minsan, kasi siya dapat, AB journalism siya. Estudyante ko siya sa Mendiola. So, estudyante ko na naging friend ko na siya kasi lagi nagkikwentuhan, tatanong ako din sa kanya. So, sinashare niya. Sabi niya, alam niyo ma'am, dito, lahat ng tao, okay. So, although ang problema lang sa Korea, mahal daw ang bilihin. Pero with regards to payment, maganda daw. Kaya nga lang, work ng work yan. Then sabi niya sa akin, alam niyo ma'am, ang mga teachers ngayon daw sa mga eskwelahan nila, it's a robot. Okay? And yun daw ang ini-engage ngayon ng Korea is also to compete with Japan's technology. I mean to say, yung electronics. So robot na, ang nakamuka ay Amerikano, for example, mga puti, pero ang mga teachers daw po ay mga Filipino. Sabi ko talaga, really? Sabi niya, yes ma'am. Kasi yung anak niya, 'di ba, nag-aral doon, nag-aaral. So doon niya nalaman na ang teacher ng bata, robot, pero ang nagsasalita, Filipino. So, ibig sabihin karamihan pala. So yung teacher nasa Pilipinas, true ano lang, as in talaga, makikita mo. So talaga, kaya kami sa nakakakwentuhan eh. So ito yung sample lang, no, na with the improvement from Japan, so nakita nila, they also improve. Kaya tignan nyo, most of the Far East or the East in East Asia, lahat sila successful. Diba? Taipei, China, diba? Taipei yan. Singapore, although nasa Southeast Asia siya. Korea is also ASEAN. And Japan. Tignan nyo, diba? So, ayan ang sample. And they are very connected halos sila sa isang lahi eh. Diba? So, what about the crisis and its legacy? So, even in a highlight, no, though at even events of the 1997 to 1998 seems improbable. The crisis struck some of the world's most successful countries, economies, correct, no? Dahil kahit mayaman sila, nag-suffer po sila, nagkaroon sila ng financial problem. If I'm not mistaken po, during the time of President Gloria Arroyo, I think that's 2012, nagkaroon po ng economic crisis, bumagsak ang ekonomiya ng buong mundo halos. Ang Amerika po ay nag-recess. That's first time, no? Actually, di ba first time? Ilang time na sa kanila yan. Nag-recess po ang bansang Amerika kaya lahat ng bansa bumagsak yung exchange natin doon. Lumaki yung palitan tapos tinitignan nila na ang Pilipinas baka bumagsak din tayo, inaalalayan tayo pero nagulat sila, no, na kaya pala natin, no, sumunod tayo sa flow. At during the time of Gloria Arroyo, I understand naging second world country tayo, naging stable yung economy natin, double A, ay di pala double, triple A ang binigay sa atin, no, it's a Moody rate ng World Bank na kaya tayo lang ang pinapayagan o napagbigyan na bansang maliit na bansa na pwedeng umutang kung sakasakaling kailangan. Pero di natin ginawa. Ibig sabihin, yung ating mga leaders, maganda yung ginawa nila. So ito yun. So yung iba, bumagsak, sila tayo nasa gitna. So kapag nag-fall ka, bumagsak, ibig sabihin talagang bagsak. Like for example, in Greenland, they thought magso-survive. Nung nagkaroon ng European Unions, ang alam nila, susuportahan nila yan. Pero nangyari, bumubulusok pababa. Kaya napilitan si Great Britain na mag-exit. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng Brexit. Kasi maapektuhan din sila pag bumulusok. So kailangan i-retain ng Great Britain yung kanilang economy. At ito nga nangyari. Diba? Hindi sila namumblema sa problema ng European countries ngayon. Hindi sila nagbibigay ng pera ngayon sa mga associations na yan. Kasi nga, ang nakafocus nila ngayon, yung sarili. Kaya ito yung ginagawa din ni Trump as mentioned natin nung previous Ganyan yung policy na ginagawa niya. Prioritize the local rather than others. So the crisis also had a silver lining. It stimulated difficult policy and institutional reform and remedy to the structural weaknesses of East Asia economies that is also had exposed. It also highlighted the issues growing interdependence, weaknesses in the global and financial system, and thus benefit the Asian cooperations. If there is also, sabi nga natin, changes dito, no? Meron din tayong pag-asa, sabi nga renaissance means pagkabuhay. Since the crisis po, Asia has also emerged on the world's most of the dynamic regions, experiencing what is New World Bank study, or the New World Bank study had called it as East Asia's Renaissance by Gill and Carasas, Caras perception or theories na tinatawag, or ideas. But the pattern of Asian development has also changed. Like for example, yung People's Republic of China, no, na ngayon ay iba na, no? Yung India for example, Vietnam, they are done once upon a time ay communism, but right now naging socialism sila. At present, the fastest growing economies na sila. Tinalo pa tayo ng Vietnam. Imagine mo. Na tayo yung una na umuusad na tayo, nangunguna na tayo sa kanila. Ngayon nabaliktad. Sila ngayon nangungusad kasi alam niyo na, sistema, bulok, red tape, di ba? So because the PRC and also India are also a world most populous country. Tignan nyo populous country yan, di ba? Their rise dramatically changes the regional and globally economic. Ngayon tignan nyo India. Very competitive na ngayon, nag-explore na rin sila sa buong mundo, sa mundo. outside world, 'di ba? Outside solar system. 'Di ba? May mga ano na rin sila na mga satellite na rin. Lumalaban na rin sila sa Japan. Take note ha. They have a bigger number of population. Yeah? Kasi maganda yung mga leaders nila, maayos. Most other countries po in the region and also growing solidity, no? And it also less spectacularly than before the crisis. Growth in the directly affected economies of the Association of Southeast Asian Nation, kasama tayo dyan, through the disappointing compared to either periods and also gradually staining or strengthening. So, sabi nga natin, kung may mga dating kalungkutan ng araw, meron pong mabubuhay. So, renaissance, muling pagkabuhay. And we're waiting for that, sabi nga natin. And that muling pagkabuhay or renaissance na yan will start to the world regionalism and yung tinatawag natin, Asian regionalism in the world economy. So, ibig sabihin, cooperations within among countries of the world. Kaya lang, sa na-discuss ko nung previous about Trump policy, iba ngayon ang tinatahak ng sistema. It's more on protectionism rather than free trade. It's more on local products o yung tinatawag nating nationalist approach rather than cooperations of men. Diba? Kasi nagkakaroon ng conflict eh. So yan po yung problema. So hindi ko na ito continue to, stop ko na ito para hindi na kayo ma-stress kasi nai-stress na kayo sa dami-dami ko sinasabi. Dahil ayaw nyo na madagdagan. Ma'am, kasi pag nagpa-quiz ka na naman, dami-dami mo na naman idadagdag. Nawawala tuloy yung aking ballpen. Okay? So tatandaan ko, minto tayo. Tandaan nyo na sa module 73 tayo ha. Okay, so may question po muna tayo for now. Wala po ko ibibigay ng task ngayon. Diba? Kasi sa next meeting po